Okay, let me start this over. Actually, it's the opposite of the way that I had put it. I thought that we had to tilt forward. What we want to do is make sure that you're all the way back, and then it's pretty much like taking a picture off of the wall. You just lift up and take the TV off. You're going to want to make sure that you keep the power cord connected, because once the TV's on the rack, you can't, there's no way to be able to get your fingers back there to be able to get the power cord in. So you can either grab it on your way down, like I'm doing here, or just let it hang. It should be fine. But I would make sure that you've got your box, the TV box, which you'll obviously get as well, handy when you do this, because you can just, this can go on the floor fairly easily or put it up against a wall. As long as it's got a soft space to land on or sit on, you should be fine. But it is good. It is a fragile TV. I mean, you can tell it's only 1.5 inches thick. So I'm going to go set this down. Now, from here on out, this is a pretty easy process. All of this, like I said before, is like a giant pillowcase. That's basically how this thing is built. And it's got 2 zippers, one on the side, that's the tallest side, and then one that runs all the way around along the base. Before we can take that off, we have to disconnect the 2 stabilizer bars, these tall, the silver ones on each side. And again, it's just going through and unscrewing these, and then you can just pull them away. I'm going to do that and then get back in a minute. Almost forgot one other thing. Extra parts. Lots of fun. Actually, there's going to be, within the TV case, there are going to be 3 different parts. And all 3 of these are for when you want to, and then the large one, mount this on like a tabletop. So we're not going to be using that at all. And then in association with the Premier mount, the mounting kit, these are a bunch of spare screws. So if we want to keep them, because just in case you need to change out TVs, or if you wanted to do something different, we're going to want to make sure that we hold on to these things. So they're going to be in there, but you can take them out to reduce weight, because to be honest, this base here is about the same weight as the TV. So more in a bit. Right, back again. So what I've done is gone through and kind of started taking all this stuff apart. You can see that the brackets are no longer on the sides, and these literally just walk or separate. This base is heavy. Part of the reason why I say keep it together. This is how this whole system works and why it's so easy. You can see here we have just a little push button tension button. That has got a bungee cord inside of it. That is how you put this thing together and apart. It's very much like a tent. Anyways, both of these, the large one, which I've got here, and the smaller one that is on that side of the booth, fit inside of our case very well, all in one piece. So it's, like I said before, it's one less thing to do. And on this one, you just want to be careful that when you do the tension release on here, that you're not accidentally knocking off one of the standoffs. In a minute we'll do the booth. Okay, Dawn, so this part is going to be fairly straightforward, but there is a little bit of a trick to doing this as far as order. So what I'm going to want you to do is actually this is a good point too, is that you may want to bring a step stool. Now, it's not going to be necessary, and I know that I think you're actually taller than I am, so, but what you're going to want to do is start over on this end, and you just literally zip it up all the way to the top. And I can jump to do it this time around. And then the bottom is the other zipper. That's the part that's going to be somewhat touchy, because you do have to handle the booth itself. This whole thing only weighs 20 pounds, so it's not going to be that difficult, but you just don't want any tipping. That's why I've actually kept the monitor mount here and on, because it's easier for us to use that as kind of a backdrop because the booth isn't going anywhere with this thing on. So we're just going to go underneath and kind of pull on it and on the zipper, and then you can pretty much run with it straight across. Okay, now again, we're talking about a pillowcase, a giant pillowcase here. So once you have it unzipped, you can, again, this would be a good spot for a step stool, but you can also just slide it off the top of the corner. Where we want to be careful is when we get over to here. So I want you to actually, instead of just sliding it off like a curtain, which is how we normally do this, is just take your time going around this bracketing for the TV. Okay. The white here. I am. Interesting. Bringing this all the way around. And there's the booth. Pretty straightforward. I'm going to stop here for just one quick second, and then I will show you how we can move that base back. Okay, so now I did one way, and you can do one of two ways. You could, if you wanted to, you can move this TV base back a little bit. And basically what you're doing is kind of putting the entire thing sideways. Pulling the entire thing sideways. Not the base, the actual booth itself. Again, we're talking about 20 pounds here. This bar is going to sit flush right beneath the TV kit. But when you move it around, you can literally slide it like that. Now, if you have the entire graphic on while you do that, you can essentially take this whole thing and slide it out the back. Again, that's what I was talking about where we had that, the white was a little bit larger than the green. And now we're at a point where the entire booth is ready to disassemble. And you just take it, walk it forward and hold on right at the cross, and set it out on the ground with the rounded side up. This is going to be, again, the easiest part. Pull out your whole, pull out your trusty T tool. I'm loving this. I wish there was a brand on it. Yeah, there is. Excellent. And we're going to do the cross members first. So we always just, it just takes a couple of turns to loosen these up, if that. And it comes out, like I said before, very much like you're putting a tent together or taking it apart. These also have the same little push buttons on as the others did. So you just grab that, pull it apart like that, and then we've got the black bag, the one that's like the size of a ski bag. Just start putting them in. I'm going to move this up a little bit. So then we move over to the side. Because the side is longer and it actually provides more of the tension structure, you want to do this one last. But of note is that the side, this one, this piece, does have, is a little bit shorter than you would think it should be, but it's shorter because you want to make sure that you have the correct amount of tension. Now anything that's longer than about 4 feet is going to have multiple releases. So you just do this again. Super simple. I'll finish up the other pieces and put them in the bag and we'll be back.